I just can't stop myself from telling you a couple of stories that are in the news, even in the New York Times. It's all out there for you to read. You think he's crazy, or we're crazy for equating Obama with the march towards Marxism and socialism? Let me tell you a couple of stories that you can read in the mainstream media. You all know liberal Democratic Senator Robert Byrd, who recently passed away, right? We all know Byrd. He was in there for 50 years. He was a strong supporter of Obama during the 2008 campaign. Well, last year, you didn't hear this because they don't want you to know this, but last year, after just a few months of Obama in the White House, Robert Byrd, liberal Democratic Obama supporter, wrote a scathing multi-page letter to the president, released it to the media, which they never reported, but you can find it in his office, Cole, Washington. You can find it on the net.
Yeah, park right in there.
Accusing Obama of unconstitutionally appointing czars. You know all about the czars that are really running the government, skirting the Constitution and the United States Senate. He appoints these czars so that they do not have to be confirmed by the Senate. Well, just a few months into the administration, liberal Democratic supporter, 50-year Senator Robert Byrd couldn't take it any longer and wrote this scathing letter accusing Obama of acting unconstitutionally. It was in the news for half a day and it disappeared, but it's out there.
Easy way to handle the situation.
He appoints these czars, number one, so they don't have to be confirmed because they are so extreme that the Democrats in the United States Senate will not confirm these people, number one. Number two, if they were to get past the United States, even the Democrats in the Senate, and they were confirmed, many of them are so extreme, they have such checkered pasts that they would never be able to pass security screening, never. You've seen a lot of them fired because of us, but there's a lot of them that haven't been fired. Number two, again, if you think we're all crazy and none of this is happening, last week, not last year, last week, in the gigantic financial bill that he just ran through, there's a director of consumer finance that's really going to control all the credit available in this country. The bill says the director must be appointed by the president and confirmed with the advice and consent of the United States Senate. Well, Obama wants Marxist Harvard Law School professor Liz Warren to be this director. You've heard of Chris Dodd, haven't you? Okay, Chris Dodd released publicly a letter to the president saying you can't appoint Liz Warren because she'll never be confirmed by the Senate, even by the Democrats, because she's so extreme. This is in the New York Times in the last couple of weeks. This isn't some crazy story. So what does Obama do? He ignores even people like Dodd that are trying to warn him you can't appoint this left-wing Harvard Law School professor to run this bureaucracy which is going to control all the credit in this country. She's going to tell the lenders who they can lend to. And how do you think she's going to make that decision? Anyway, Obama goes and appoints her as a, quote, presidential appointee to run this huge bureaucracy. She's not going to be the director. She won't have the title. There'll never be a director. They're just not going to appoint a director. She's going to be the de facto director, appointed by the president, outside of the oversight of the Senate. Also, because he's appointing her that way, her budget will also not be subject to the confirmation by the United States Senate. This is the kind of stuff that's going on every single day when you wake up in the morning and go to bed. This is every single day, and there's 10,000 other things like this going on every week that we don't know about because the president and the administration have enormous executive powers to do things by executive order and in other ways that don't have to be subject to any scrutiny and we don't even know about. If you look at the healthcare bill is really an environmental action bill. It's an affirmative action bill, and on and on and on. It has all the pet left-wing causes built into it. If you look at the so-called financial regulation bill, it has all the, let me give you a psychotic example of what your stimulus bill does. If a city or a state wants to get paving money to pave roads from the stimulus bill, all right? When I first heard this, when you hear this stuff, you think, now this is some crackpot right-wing blogger's idea. No, this is the law. If you want paving money, you have to go out and buy hybrid dump trucks, okay? That will cost more than the money they're giving you to subsidize your paving. Then get this, and I am not making this up, you can look all this stuff up. You have to take your old polluting dump trucks, even if you bought it last week, the diesel dump trucks, and you have to drill holes in the engine to destroy the engine so it'll be disabled, so you can never use it, because you don't want to piss off Al Gore. And then you can get a few bucks to pave your streets. This is the stuff that's built into every bill. This is why it doesn't stimulate, this is why it doesn't reform health care, this is why it doesn't reform, the bills don't reform the financial system, because they have nothing to do with health care, nothing to do with stimulating the economy, and nothing to do with reforming the financial system. They're all extremely ideological bills. They're backdoor methodologies for imposing incredibly left-wing policies on the country through the back door, through the guise of health care, financial reform, and stimulus. The stimulus was a gigantic boondoggle for all the unions and left-wing supporters of Obama. It had nothing to do with stimulus, which is why it didn't stimulate the economy. The health care bill, I heard an expert on the health care bill the other day at a lecture who finally figured, who was hired by one of the largest law firms in the state to figure out the health care bill for their business clients. And I couldn't sleep that night after sitting down and listening to this guy for a half an hour. When the president looks at you in the camera every other day and says, you can keep your health care plan if you like it, he's a liar. He's a liar. Now, many, as you know, every day, probably today, if you look at the New York, even the New York Times, there's every other day there's an article in the paper about, oh my God, we just figured out another draconian and damaging unintended consequence of the health care bill that we didn't know was in there. Oh my God, every day, some terrible unintended consequence. Well, the fact that you can't keep your health plan if you like it is not an unintended consequence. In fact, this guy who was explaining it to us, this was a business roundtable we were at, explained that the rules for keeping your own health care plan were written to make it physically impossible. Physically impossible to keep your health care plan. So it's theoretical that you can keep your health, but no health care plan in the country will qualify for this. None. So the whole thing's a gigantic scam. So what will happen is the health care system will implode and it'll be taken over by a single payer, nationalized health care system. And that's exactly what it's designed to do. He said this is not an unintended consequence. It's impossible. And he gave us some of the examples why it's impossible for any plan to qualify to keep, to remain in force. He and his minions designed the plan this way. So when he looks in the camera and tells you that you can keep your, he's a liar. So with some of the other disasters in the plan, he's just incompetent. With respect to keeping your plan. He's a liar. He's lying to, now don't tell me all politicians lie and they always lie and the right wing's lie. I mean, everything is relative. No, politicians don't lie like this to us. I mean, this guy makes Nixon look like a, you know, like a paragon of veracity. Anyway, I just had to point out a couple of things that have kind of been rankling me lately that you may not be aware of. But that's what's going on. And wait till this financial reform bill kicks into high gear. And you want a loan, but your business isn't green enough, or there's not enough affirmative action in your business, or you name it. You're not getting your loan. I promise you. Thanks, and God bless America.
Oh, come here. Rick Green picked up my...
Thank you, Mr. Yamin, for all that good information that we